still morning?
Good morning.
All right, good morning.
Hey Mike, David Moore, Dallas Morning News. Understanding your focus is on this game, but do you have any more clarity on Dak's situation with extra opinions and just what will be needed?
He's still going through the process. Visited with him again this morning on it, so still collecting information, different opinions. I think that'll continue through next week. So, but he's here every day doing everything that he can.
At this status, I mean, one of the things on the board is whether or not he's able to return this season, given the options that he's looking at to address this injury.
Yeah, definitely. I think that would be the goal. I know he wants to keep playing, but I think it's important to go through the process of gathering all the information. It's obviously a serious injury.
Todd Archer with ESPN. How did Micah and CD come out of their work yesterday?
CD had a good day, did a little more than we anticipated, and I thought Micah had a good day. He felt good this morning, so Micah will do a little more, and CD will stay on a normal rep count.
Have you had receivers that have dealt with this AC joint that
Yes.
What's the biggest issue that they have to fight? Is it just a pain thing or range of motion? Like how do you look at it?
I mean, it's both. I mean, it's once again, all AC joints, there's different grades, and I mean, I think obviously there's things that you can play with. I don't want to get into specifics of it. He can talk about the specifics of his injury, but yes, I mean this is the tough part of the game. But I thought he had a good day yesterday.
John Machado with The Athletic. Do you still look at this with your running back group as running back by committee, or has Rico kind of moved into the number one spot where he's kind of your guy?
So you're asking me how many reps he's going to play Sunday? Scheme and play.
Sure, yeah, if you want
Tad told me scheme and play time's off the table. I'm just trying to stay within the rules here. I'm a rule follower. I follow the rules.
What did you
Kelvin?
think what did you think of Rico though in the last game?
I like the way he played. I think Rico's improved each week with more opportunities. But yeah, very pleased with Rico.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. How's Zack Martin been playing this year? I mean, I know he's got a rookie. He's got to help him show communication. How overall do you think he's played?
Well, I think like anything. I mean, Zach's had a couple things he's dealing with, but yeah, I think he's having a solid year. I mean, it's you're talking about someone that's played at an extremely high level for so long. So, but there's a lot of football left.
Because he's so good at what he does, and expectations so high. When he has a quote unquote bad game, is that like a shock to the system that is something we normally don't see in a sense?
Well, once again, it's a long year. I mean, there's a lot of football, so I don't. And we talk about ebb and flow of a football game. You have an ebb and flow of a season, and no different for players. I mean, they're all trying to, establish a standard, a high standard of play, and be consistently play above that line. And Zach has done that forever. So, I mean, he would want to speak on that more than anybody. So, he has a standard, and we have all the confidence that he'll play today.
Sajis of The Athletic. Mike, how have your defensive tackles progressed throughout the season, and where do you see where they are right now going into a team that has a really good running game?
Well, I think, our numbers up front have been a little light. We went in last week with 8. So, I mean, we're going to need him. Ozzy's going to have to play well. We need those guys inside. I mean, this offensive line and the way they run it, Saquon's playing it at, I would say, probably the best I've seen him play going into a week of prep. So he's been dynamic. I think he wins the Player of the Week every week, it seems like. But, we definitely got to play, strong inside. We play with a lot of discipline. I think the fit between our linebackers and our core guys inside has improved, and we need to continue to stay on that, and we will definitely need that Sunday.
Their quarterback sneak play hasn't been as effective this year. Is that just an indicator of how valuable Kelsey was to that? And a lot of people attribute that to the quarterback, but just the whole operation.
Well, I would say, Kelsey, in my view, is a Hall of Fame center. I mean, he played at such a high level for so long. So not only the sneak, but there's a lot more. What I remember the respect I had for him is when he, their pattern schemes. He pulls, and they're still doing it with their center now, but just his ability to pull on the edge and make plays too. So, but yeah, I think some of that too is, maybe the opportunities haven't been there too. I haven't studied it to give you. I don't have an evaluation of their sneak play.
Ed.
Mike Edwarder, WFAA. As you endure this 3-game losing streak, and
Oh, it hurt. You're killing me. Can we get past the opinion and just give it to me? Come on.
I'm trying to create context for the question.
I'm sorry. I didn't get much sleep last night. I'm a little squirrely today.
I won't say it again, but in addition to that, you lose your starting quarterback just as your pass rusher's coming back. How would you describe morale and how do you, among your coaching staff and the player, how do you control that?
I would say this. I mean, the reality of what goes on, inside the locker room, the coaching operation has been very consistent. I mean, I think like all of us, and it's really been like this my whole career. When things don't go the way you want them to go, you knuckle down and go a little harder. So I mean, that's the only thing that I've seen. We've put a lot of time and energy into this, not only on a daily basis in season, but this goes back to April. So I haven't seen anything change. If you look at the practice tape and I'm always just use the young guys example. We got some young players that are having, they're growing and so forth, and that's part of your practice climate that's established here. So I haven't seen any drop off. The weight room. I mean, discipline. I'm just looking for situations, but yeah, this particular team is clearly is a very consistent football team. But yeah, I mean, morale. I mean, we all want to win. I mean, it's frustrating when you don't win, and it's hard, and because you got to answer questions like this too. That's part of our job. But I don't see really any drop off. So good to be home. Need to win a home game. I won a home game this year.
How unthinkable is that to you? That you as dominant as you guys have been at home the last 2 years, that you haven't won a home game.
That would have been my answer. Just the way we've played the last 2 years. I would have never thought that. I would have never thought that.
Aaron.
Aaron Cousins, Lone Star Live, kind of building off that morale question, with Dak hurt and Zeke going through his stuff, have you noticed anybody step up leadership-wise, or is that important to you to have particular guys fill leadership?
I would say people are. It's more action than vocal right now, and I think that's the way it should be. No one wants to really hear a whole lot of extra, but we do have vocal leaders. I think they do a good job of, speaking at the right time or when something needs to be said. Personally, I can't stand false chatter. Maybe because I'm old, I find it annoying. But I think it's important to stay consistent. And going back to Ed's original question, I think the energy is probably what I'd comment on too. Is the energy has been very consistent, and I think that's important.
Dave.
Mike, you've talked a lot about being a draft and develop coach, and that's a bedrock principle of what you do. And you've also mentioned several times this year being green, which is another part of being a draft and develop team. How key is it every offseason when you're draft and develop like you are to analyze kind of that veteran safety net on how many of them you let go so you don't leave yourself too young in certain areas? I mean, how big a part of that is in the evaluation year in, year out?
Well, I do think the formula, and it's hard to do it every year because you got the whole financial realm over here that's critical to the process of putting together a roster. But and I learned this first time I really saw it happen was probably in Kansas City, but was more in tune with it when I went to Green Bay. Is you try to make sure through veteran free agency you have the spots full, or at least you can go play a game today if you had to in April, and then you're able to you're not drafting for need. I mean, you try to stay away from drafting for need, but that's not, some years it's not practical. So, and have been there even in a draft and develop program in 13 years. I mean, we said we were BPA, best play available all the time, but there are times we were not. So, and I think so that happens. So, I personally, as a head coach, would really, when you're signing veterans in camp and you're doing things at the end. That I think that's a pretty big challenge. It doesn't because it's happened more this year, it seems, than I haven't been exposed to as much. Because I think if you can have everybody here in April, when that draft's over, and you line up and you got that 90-man roster, if you can get to work on continuity and consistency, I think that's a huge factor in the start of your season. Because if you can just get started in September, because September to me is the best opportunity to win games. I personally don't think the quality of football is the best of my coaching career in September. So to me, that from experience, I think there's more opportunities to win. So if you can at least get out the gate and get started, and I think having all your people there in April helps you do that. So, but then boom, here comes the injuries. Timing injuries, rookies playing. When they play is too. So all these are factors through experience you learn to navigate too. But we all play by the same rules. So it's not that we have something different than others. That's not my point. But that's all part of the challenge, and that's why it makes this game so great. And that's why this league is so hard.
It seems like, again, every year that is your principle, and you carry it through every year, but you have different numbers of starters who are on that second level who are up in a certain year than other years, and sometimes you lose 6 or 7, sometimes you lose 2.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants to catch lightning in a bottle and go win a Super Bowl. Hell, I mean, that's awesome, but go to the playoffs every year. I mean, that's hard. Sustained success in the National Football League is by far the hardest thing going. I mean, when you see teams that are in it every single year, that's a hell of a football program. I mean, they're doing things the right way on all 3 quadrants. Their player instruction, their player drafting, and their player finance. All 3 of those components are functioning at a very high level. So, being a one-year wonder, and it's happened, and it's important. I mean, if you can get in the playoffs and play your best football in December and January, it's been proven. You have a great opportunity to maybe win one. But to build it for the long haul, you have to draft and develop. I don't know any other way. I mean, the numbers tell you that. The depth of your football team is critical to that. So those are all very, very important factors.
Garrett Codell, CBS Sports. Mike, Jalen Hurts struggled with turnovers, but during their 4-game winning streak, 12 touchdowns, no turnovers. As someone who's made a career evaluating quarterbacks, what's flipped for him the last 2 weeks?
I haven't watched them that close to give you an opinion on the earlier games, but I think the obvious is the answer to your question. I mean, you got to take care of the football. So I mean, we went through the same thing. You can't you're never going to win a game that you're -5. Hell, we won a game that we were -3. And, I don't know if I've ever done that before in Pittsburgh. So you got to take care of the ball. I mean, there's no any way to shake it. Whether it's the fundamentals of how you carry it, the decisions you're making, the quarterback, or you're not catching it, and or they're making plays. There's the tremendous amount of training that goes in to ball extraction. I think it's the highest that I've ever seen in my career in this league, the ability to take the ball away. So. And I think we talked about this in here last week or 2 weeks ago. Taking the helmet out of the game, the skill level of the defenders and the coverage units taking the ball away. It's awesome. We show a video every week. John Fossil does the video. It's incredible. I love the way he does it. And it's a weekly. It goes through every game, all 16 games, and it's all about one of the sections is about ball security. So it's constantly drilled because you have to have it too, and that's where, we need to flip it here. We were +1 last week, and we need to build off of that.
Sydney.
Coach, Sydney Staples, D210 Sports. How has that energy surrounding Ezekiel Elliott been so far this week?
Good. Zeke's he's come in and we sat down and talked on Monday or maybe it was Tuesday, but he's jumped right in. He's had a good week. So. Zeke has a bright light. He's got a lot of personality, so he's having a good week.
Todd.
You talked a little bit about the home deal. Have you changed anything about your schedule, plan, guys staying in hotels, not staying at home now, anything like that?
Yeah, we've adjusted the schedule a little bit.
Anything you want to
No, not really.
Calvin.
How much will Bland do today?
He'll be working with Britt today. Yeah, he's still in the rehab group.
Is that foot still sore? Is that the biggest thing with him? Just the soreness in that foot?
Yeah, I mean the specifics. He's still having symptoms. That's really what's communicated. So the specifics are, really for him to speak on.
Ed.
The importance of leadership in situations like this, and then what do you lose in that regard with Dak? Since he's such a driving force here in the locker room, Do you lose that with him, or is he still able to be that when he's not playing?
Well, I think like anything, particularly with Dak, because he's such a excellent leader and respected. So obviously when you're not on the field, it obviously the opportunity decreases. But the support that he gives Cooper and the support that he gives the other players, it's really an opportunity for those men to step up and take advantage of this void in leadership too. So, but and he really gets that. So. He broke down the offense here at the end of the walkthrough, so he's still very much involved.
All right, thank you, Mike.
Thank you.